What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon and the crypto universe. Today is Monday, July 6th. Now, we have to talk about what happened over the weekend, because for Bitcoin, it's gotten a lot of free publicity. When I talk about free publicity, I'm talking about press that comes from all the negative sentiment around Ordinals and runes. As you know, there's this ongoing war between BIP 110, aka the Bitcoin Nuts people, versus Bitcoin Core. And they're all talking about one thing, and that is spam. And spam is classified for Ordinals and runes, which is basically anything that is a non-monetary transaction. And monetary transactions are mainly Bitcoin. Ordinals and runes fall under the non-monetary category. But I just want to share with you data and statistics, because what we're seeing is not only are runes consuming a majority of the transaction volume within Bitcoin, but because of all this like chit chatter and negative sentiment, it's actually boosted the awareness of DOG amongst Bitcoin maxis through debates within all these different core developers. It's kind of crazy, and it's actually reflective of what's going on with the DOG price. I'll share with you charting analysis and why DOG Bitcoin right now just surpassed the 50-day moving average line on the 4-hourly chart, and is right now trying to fight it against the 24-hour chart. It's actually quite bullish in all this different perspective that I'm going to share with you. So let's cover it in this video. I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So DOG right now is up around 1.22% in the past 24 hours. Again, a lot of the trading volume on the exchanges, again, can be influenced by market makers. Now, I want to share with you something at the very end of the video, which has to do with Gate.io. As you know, we've covered Gate.io in a previous video regarding their proof of reserves that are different from their on-chain reserves. And how that relates to this is that a lot of what's going on in terms of Gate trading volume really relates to what's going on with Binance, okay? So before we get into that, I want to cover the fundraisers. So right now, believe it or not, thanks to a lot of you since last Friday, we are now 69% complete of our fundraiser, very close to meeting the 100% threshold. In order to do that, we need to raise 6.17 million DOG. Guys and girls, this is your chance to show up. I'm looking for the next legends that are willing to donate 500,000 DOG or 1 million DOG. Just 6 people that donate 1 million DOG each would literally complete this in just one day. And this secures the next coverage of daily DOG videos, on-chain forensics, wallet investigations, market research for the entire community for the next 2 years. And all I'm asking is that you just donate to this cause no matter what amount. And remember, the top 3 donors receive prizes. First place receives the silver medallion, second place receives the DOG 101 Pizza Ninja Ordinal, then the third place wins 2 runestones. Plus the top 20 donors get end credit features in every single video for the next 2 months on our channel. So I'm going to give a shout out to the Crypto Saiyan for donating 1 million. Thank you so much. You're such a legend. We have also Dog Moon Candle, Henry TW, also Ian and Harper. Thank you so much, both of you, for contributing to this cause. Pizza Ninja 220, Trucker Biff for his second donation, and also we have Crypto Hehova Sabio. Thank you so much. So if you want to donate, please go to my X account, look for this donation address. This is the Bitcoin Runes address. You can also send your funds on Solana as well. Just make sure to DM me. But after you made your donations, make sure to DM me your X handle and the donation amount so that I can add you up to the leadership board. So let's get into some recent news. So you probably saw that Strategy sold roughly around 3,588 Bitcoin, roughly around $216 million to fund their dividends. Remember, he's done this before. What happened to the Bitcoin price when this was announced? Absolutely nothing happened. And that's the amazing thing, that right now Bitcoin is holding strong. That means no matter what, right now Bitcoin may not actually experience a bear market. I mean, just personally, in my opinion, I think right now we have maybe met the bottom for Bitcoin. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know what the whole macro landscape is going to be, but the fact is that MicroStrategy is selling that amount of Bitcoin and Bitcoin did not take a massive dip. Just goes to show the resilience of where Bitcoin stands. People are buying the dip. Now, let's talk about the BIP 110 supporters. Now, remember, Leonidas had gone on a Twitter space, and I talked about this last week, where he was debating with Fred Krueger, saying that basically Ordinals and runes are complete trash and that they need to be removed. And that's why he's adding the ticker hashtag BIP110 to his user account on X. Now remember, this was basically Fred back in 2023 talking about Ordinals so much. I mean, if you just freeze frame the shot, you'll read how he was so bullish on Ordinals. So the fact is that he's against Ordinals right now goes to show that he's a grifter. And if you don't know what a grifter is basically a person that doesn't stick to the fundamentals of one thing and moves on to the next thing. So they don't really actually have dedication or focus on a specific asset. They rather just chase the trend. We call those people grifters. And when I went onto the Reddit page for Bitcoin, someone said, what's up with BIP 110 and the fear mongering, which is actually kind of interesting. So somebody replied, keep Bitcoin away from spam, which is Ordinals and runes. And now this person actually made a really interesting point. Now he does agree that he doesn't want spam to be on Bitcoin, meaning Ordinals, runes, inscriptions, BRC20 tokens, alkanes, whatever. He's agreeing with that, but he doesn't want it to be rushed or promoted by someone who spammed Bitcoin blockchain in the past, couldn't secure his own Bitcoin bag, and as a consequence, got everyone at the conference he attended doxxed by the FBI. If you don't know what we're talking about, yeah, it's absolutely true. Reported by the block itself back in April 11th, 2024, yes, the FBI probed Luke Dash Jr. and got information of people who attended that conference, which is kind of crazy. So yes, this is all true. This is the person that's trying to initiate Bitcoin knots and also trying to initiate BIP 110 and backing it, right? So this is just something that I think you need to pay attention to. Well, this is why knowledge is power. Now let's look at on-chain data. This is basically, okay, so this is created by the BIP 110 people. Look at their signaling rate. It's still less than 1%, which is not good. Remember, they're trying to reach 55% by August 7th, and it's not getting there. It's actually way beyond the threshold. If you don't get what that looks like in terms of miner signaling timeline, check this out. So basically, if you see a lot of these ocean mining pools, these orange dots are the ones that are supporting and signaling the BIP 110. And basically, they're not getting a lot of support from any of the prominent pool figures such as F2 Pool, Foundry USA, Mara Pool, even Binance Pool. Look at the amount of signaling that you're seeing here. That's the amount of signaling you need from miners. And right now, they are not getting anything. It's actually painful to watch. And they only have 32 days to do this. And the thing is, it's 100% basically going to fail. The reason we're saying it's going to fail is because if you just look at data rather than people's emotions and feelings, data tells you it's not working out so well. Now I'm going to go into the names of people that are against this, like Adam Back, Jameson Loop, Michael Strategy, also Wang Chung. I mean, none of these people are supporting it. But that's the thing. It's great publicity for Dog and Runes. Remember, I talked about how this whole controversy between Bitcoin Nuts, BIP 110 has actually stirred a lot of free promotion for Dog. So look over the past week. You just got to type it into Grok. So if you're on X right now, go into Grok. Just ask Grok, what has more mentions in the past week, Dog or BIP 110? Obviously, Dog has more significant mentions in the past week, but what's really interesting is what it said about BIP 110. It said that this proposal is much lower volume. Mentions exist in niche Bitcoin maximalist culture war circles. So basically, users with BIP 110 in their bios discussing node software or anti-spam views, they're far fewer overall and lower engagement. No broad viral discussion. So if you think about it, this community of theirs, their BIP 110, is actually very tiny. The only reason why they're kind of speaking out right now is because they're finally getting attention, only due to the fact that Rune's transactions have actually really contributed a lot to the network. And that's why you're seeing people on the sidelines, like say for certain comments, they have very few viewers. I mean, even some of these actual users seem like they're bots because they don't have many followers and they just reply very blatantly, right? And that's the weird thing. They don't even have verified ticker symbols. But I think they're paying bots to actually comment on some of their things just to make it seem like there's actual community there. And this is what we're talking about. So just a couple days ago, we just saw that non-monetary transactions. This is OpReturn, by the way. OpReturn supports Runes, Ordinals, and inscriptions. And as we know, Runes are the main contributor to OpReturn's benefit and contribution to the Bitcoin network. That's why you see 77% of transactions are non-monetary. That's Runes right there, compared to monetary transactions, which is Bitcoin. And the reason Bitcoin has low transactions right now on chain is because Bitcoin ETFs and institutions have removed a lot of that activity away from the Bitcoin network. It's all happening off-chain. So runes are contributing to it as much as these cult leaders and cult followers within the BIP 110 people are trying to censor it and trying to do a soft fork to pause it for a year with no solution at the end of the year. It makes no sense to me. So while this is all happening, you see that CoinGecko is now going to work with Mintify to integrate DEX Screener API. Basically, what you're going to see is that with on-chain ecosystems, API now provides the historical DEX data, real-time streaming, and analytics across 250 blockchain networks, including runes. So that's why you're seeing Dog, Mim, Pups, Billion Dollar Cat, Gizmo, even God for that matter. This just goes to show that not only is CoinMarketCap doing this, but CoinGecko is doing this. The reason they're developing all this technology is because they know that since it's been around for more than 2 years, it's not going anywhere, and they haven't disappeared, it's here forever. So this is the very beginning of a new trend. And that's why you're seeing all this free promotion from this cult-like following from these BIP 110 people ended up pushing Dog as the #1 trending asset on StockTwits. I'm not talking about just the #1 asset on equities or #1 asset on crypto. I'm talking about the #1 asset overall, surpassing XRP, Sony, Horizon. I mean, guys and girls, this is kind of crazy. Now, I want to talk about Gate.io really quickly. Remember when I shared with you this specific image right over here? This was like maybe a week and a half ago, where when we see on-chain that Gate.io holds roughly around 3.3 billion Dog. But when you go onto their website, it says that they have 12.5 million Dog. Now, the reason I want to cover this is because when you go over to their GitHub page, basically their proof of reserve shares with you a GitHub. And in there, because it's outdated, this was provided roughly around July 2023. That's really outdated by 3 years. Obviously, it didn't feature Dog because Dog came out in April 2024. But notice that their GitHub has not been updated since 2023. So why is it their reserve showed 12.5 billion Dog? Well, what's really interesting is that when you look at the Binance controlled supply, which is roughly around 14.9% that they've been accumulating across like 158 wallets, plus an additional wallet that we found recently, which was related to Merlin chain, that ended up being just a reserve. You see that within the window of June 25th, which was when we saw all that consolidation of all the different wallets into the #1 wallet, basically Gate.io started receiving funds from the market makers, roughly 15 transactions for market maker #1 and 7 transactions for market maker #2. Now, what we are seeing is that basically all the funds that are funneling into Gate.io is being funneled by Binance. And what the activity shows on that specific day with Binance and on Gate is that if you look at the pattern, what does it show? It's that the same 4-layer Binance infrastructure was simultaneously accumulating in event A and distributing Dog tokens to Gate.io on event B in the same 24-hour window. Then Gate.io all of a sudden has this proof of reserve of 12.5%, by the way, which is very close to Binance's cluster. And just seeing this observation is pretty statistically sound. Like, it just makes so much sense that these two exchanges are working within each other, right? So that's why I'm just like looking at this and saying you cannot ignore data like this. And that's why I really just want to share this with you, is because Binance is trying to use Gate.io to accumulate more Dog. So do not sell your Dog. Now, before we get into charting analysis, I do want to mention that yesterday I saw somebody buy roughly around 49.6 million Dog tokens. That's roughly around 31,000 US dollars on Kraken. Now, I mentioned this in many different videos previously, is that the liquidity and order books on all the exchanges are super thin, roughly around a 2% market depth ratio. Now, the reason this is important is because this is an example, right? Remember, I told you over and over, it doesn't take much for Dog to move millions of dollars up if you just put in roughly around 30,000, 100,000. If you put in 500,000 or $1 million into Dog right now on the open market, Dog would literally go into the hundreds of millions. So we only had a $31,000 buy order, and it sent Dog from roughly 64 million market cap to 75 million market cap. That's over a $10 million market cap increase. Because remember, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko price Dog based on liquidity flow on the exchanges. That's how it gathers the information. So just look at what happened there, right? Dog can actually go up pretty quickly once the buy orders come in. That's why you're seeing the low trading volume on all the exchanges, because it's on purpose. It's supposed to make you think that Dog is dead. Now, when I'm looking at Dog, you can see that 60 million market cap is obviously the support level. So don't be tricked by when it goes down quite a bit, because it's actually tapped on the 60 million market cap level quite a few times, even went down below it just recently. But when you look at the Dog chart, this is what we need to look at, right? So let's look into TradingView over here. On the 4-hourly time frame, remember I covered this. Dog was roughly around here when Dog was below the 200-day moving average line, but was above the 50-day moving average line. And we wanted it to be above the 200-day moving average line. But this is the 4-hourly chart, as you can see. What have you noticed in the 24-hour chart? Check this out. Dog right now is bouncing right off of the 50-day moving average line. Now that's forming as a resistance, but Dog really wants to break out of that. Why? Because it wants to head upwards. It wants, just look at the chart. If you see that Dog is above the 50-day moving average line, see how long it lasts. Because when it does do that, it's very bullish for Dog Bitcoin, either in the short term or the long term. But this is looking like it wants to break out. And I'm guaranteeing you some forces don't want it to. Don't be tricked by that. Look at the discounts on what you're seeing with Dog and the free promotion by these BIP 110 people as an opportunity. Right now, once Dog goes above this, we want to see the 50-day moving average line cross with the 200-day moving average line because that would form a golden cross. Check this out. The last time we had a death cross was roughly 405 days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, this is eventually going to break out and cross over into a golden cross. That's just going to happen. It's just basically what we're seeing in terms of data. This is literally happening right in front of our faces, where this time any breakout can occur. So that's why I say pay attention to Bitcoin right now. Take all the free promotion that you can. This is absolutely benefiting us. But this is why I want to share with you all the data, because data tells you what's actually going on rather than going on X and looking at people's feelings. Feelings and emotions don't determine what's going to happen. Data does. So follow data. Guys and girls, if you really appreciate these videos, please donate to the fundraiser. We are 6.17 million Dog tokens away. This is the Dog Runes address. We only need 6 people to donate roughly 1 million Dog, and we're all done. If we can get 12 people to donate 500,000 Dog, we would be done in a single day, and this is going to support content for the next 2 years. So before we conclude, please donate to this cause. Here is the Runes address. You'll find it down in the descriptions on YouTube, or you can find it on my X page, which is pinned to the top. Make sure to DM me or X handle with your donation amount to be added to the leadership board. So with that said, smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog on the Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.